big companies hate it. When I talk to them about it, they go, you guys can't offer the service. I go, what can you offer that we can't?
This episode of Commercial Real Estate School is brought to you by DealNav, a map-based CRM built specifically for commercial real estate. If you're tracking opportunities in Excel, notes, or random folders, DealNav puts everything in one place. Your deals, your contacts, reminders, pipeline, all visualized on a map so nothing slips through the cracks. If you want to check it out, go to deal-nav.com and use the code Kyle15 for 15% off. Again, that's deal-nav.com, code Kyle15. Joe, thanks for taking the time today. You've been on this show before, so you're like a veteran. You're a YouTube veteran anyway, but you're also a commercial real estate school veteran. We got a little bit of a different format now, but man, it's just relaxing to know that I got a real pro on the other side of this.
Well, thank you. I don't know about a real pro, but thank you for having me on. Yes, I've been on before and kind of old hat. I didn't have gray hair when I started, so, you know.
You've aged on camera.
Yeah, imagine that.
We're getting older with you.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit different format. Last time we did some short format stuff, but I had to dig in a little bit deeper with my friend Claude. I don't know if you know him, but he's really super smart.
Yeah.
And I learned this about you in this homework, which don't get nervous now, but that you started rehabbing houses in Southern California and had to shut that sucker down. So that was your first foray into real estate?
Yeah. Well, I've had losses, you know.
Yeah.
This one actually.
No.
So what Claude forgot to tell you, that son of a bitch.
I'll fire him today.
Yeah, is that I was living in those homes when we were fixing them up. So I would be in the back room. I'd do all the plastic around it, and I'd have a bathroom in there. And then you'd do the whole house, and then I'd uncover it, go into another bedroom. Yeah, it was a mess living in those homes. And yeah, we got out of that last home. It was right before the economy turned. Wow. It was working all day, every day on them. And we sold it and we made just about enough. I think we went and got about a 12-pack of beer. There's 3 partners. I think we got a 12-pack of beer and some like Slim Jims and sat on the step going, okay, we're done. We're not doing this again. And then I got into, that's how I ended up in the real estate auction business here in Los Angeles.
Now we're talking. So what did, obviously the rehabbing thing, you're like, not for me, auctions. Like what did running these real estate auctions actually teach you about things like price, finding motivated sellers, things that are important to brokers?
I was in the marketing department at a real estate auction company. So I learned a ton about marketing, but I learned how important it was not just to sell the property, but to find more clients too, and how different that was. Really targeting. We were always out there looking for more clients to bring in for auctions, mostly institutional was really what we were doing, some development deals. But then on the weekends, and this is right when the internet was getting started. So we were still running full page ads in the LA Times. And, you know, those were $80,000 a weekend. And, you know, it would be crazy expensive. So, and then the pricing was the key, right? Because you know, when you get into the real estate auctions, a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to go get a discounted property at an auction. You're not because of the math. And the way we would do it is we would hold open houses for these properties. Now, these homes, we would get them from Freddie Mac, RTC, or local banks. They'd been on the market before with residential agents, right? For 3 months, 6 months, sometimes even a year. And we would go in and we have open houses at the 2 weekends prior to the auction. So Saturday and Sunday, those agents would hold them open. They could then take those leads from those people once the auction was over and they could keep them, right? No referral fees, no nothing. Just you hold it open, you get those leads. Worked just incredibly well. But while they were doing it, they were out also having them fill out a sheet rating the top, I think it was 5 properties that each individual saw. And then the day before the auction, we'd capture all those cards, and then we would rate those homes, and then we would structure the cadence of the auction, right? So the first property to come on the market was one that was probably number 3 or 4 on the list. So it would come up fairly high. And then we'd have the second and third one would be one that wasn't even on the list, is a little bit lower, but the excitement of that first property going off so high got that second and third property to go up even higher. And then we would bring the number 1 property out. And that would just drive the price right there. And some of them we would do absolute auction, meaning that no matter what price that property came on, it was going to sell. And those were
Like,
always the top 5 properties. You had to have 10% of the properties had to go as an absolute, right? And so it's very well manipulated. If you think you're going to get a deal in auction, most likely or not. I don't know how they're doing it now online, but they're very careful. There's a lot of reserves or unpublished reserves. And I mean,
yeah.
those unpublished reserves, we would do an unpublished reserve auction. Kyle and I would be, George is in the front taking all the bids. He had the fun stuff, right? George is the CEO of our brokerage, Commercial Brokers International, for those of you who don't know. He would be out front.
I think he's lined up to be another guest on there. I think he's lined up to be a guest on this show too. So
is he?
He's coming. Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's phenomenal. He knows so much about it. He's forgot more than I'll ever know about the industry. But I was in the back, and I would have to be sitting at the table, and I'd tell this young couple that just bought their property that you didn't meet the minimum reserve. I have been swung at. I have been threatened. And that's by the women. The men were worse, but that was the women.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. No, it was, imagine a young couple. And then we'd tell them, we'd show them what the unpublished reserve was. And most of the time they were fairly close. And,
the initial reaction was,
I'll do it. But then sometimes they just say, no, we're done. And we put the property back on the auction.
I think that's called like learning in the trenches.
Yeah. That's how you learn to be quick. I can tell you that. Freaking dodging people.
So, then you mentioned George, right? So then you and guys built another company and eventually sold that. Is that correct?
Well, so what we did is we were at this company together, and then George laid me off from that company.
I've been making, what a character.
Son of a bitch for doing that. You know what's the best thing that ever happened to us, right?
I'm not shocked. I was just saying that.
Yeah, I know. I should have saw it coming. So he laid me off, and then I went over and started an auction company with a residential real estate brokerage firm here in Los Angeles. He was it was called Friends Sands Realtors. He was one of the top residential brokerage firms here in LA. And they'd never done an auction, had no idea how to do it. So I had probably the most experience, and all I'd done was marketing. But then George got laid off about a month later, and he called me and said, yeah, exactly. And I said, you know what? You deserve it. You're going to be my partner now. So we split everything 50-50, and we started. And in the first 18 months, we were killing it. We just were in the office 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and just cold calling. And then here's what kill you. So we'd start cold calling. We're calling on institutions and banks and developers. And we'd start cold calling back east, work our way west. And then we'd stop at 3:00 every day, fold the letters, put them out on the one. We got a little Mac. It's probably worth something now because of that skinny first one, the tiny little thing. Put in the letters, print them out, fold them, take them to the post office and mail them out every day. Everybody that we spoke to, we sent a letter. Thank you for talking to me. And we built that company up, and we were the number 2 auction company within the first 18 months. And we were doing over $5 million in revenue. We were on fire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. And what year was that?
596, somewhere in there. I'm terrible with years.
I don't think I was even born yet.
Shit. Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah. And so
that was the 1900s, man.
Yeah, probably, right? So we got it going then. And then that company so the guy that owned the company decided to sell his residential firm to NRT through the Coldwell Banker arm. And we didn't want to be part of the big conglomerate. So we decided to go to DBL Realtors, launched their commercial real estate division for them. They ended up selling to NRT through Sotheby's. So we're like, okay, we've had enough of this when we started Commercial Brokers International then around 2005. That's the office I'm in now. We've got a studio in our office here in Los Angeles.
See that? Wow. That's amazing. That's a great founder story. I mean, that's kind of like, it sounds to me like a little bit of a revenge story. Like if I was a screenwriter, I can make a movie out of that for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot there. I mean, I'm leaving a lot of it out too. There was a lot of,
I'm sure.
I'm going to make this Pinot work hard for laying me off to, hey, this is kind of working. I mean, it was different because, when we were launching the auction firm, that was all cold calling and understanding how to go. And then we got to the residential real estate brokerage firm, and we're running their commercial real estate division for them. That was getting referrals from the real estate agents. So I was just constantly learning a new way of marketing every time. And, when George and I got over to start the commercial real estate, DBL commercial, it was just him and I. And then we got up to 5 agents total, I think. And then we got a call, it was December 9th. And my mentor, Alan Long, used to own DBL Realtors. And he was L in DBL. And he goes, Joe, I need you to shut the auction division down since we sold to Sotheby's. They don't want to have a commercial, anything commercial. And I'm like, okay, how long do I have? He goes, till the end of the month. I said, it's the 9th. He goes, yeah. He goes, we'll find a place for you guys to land. And what they did, which was really nice, is they just let us stay in the offices as we set our
Oh,
company up.
oh, sweet.
And,
All right.
yeah, we were very fortunate to run into these people, you know, and I just had lunch with Alan last Friday. We're
Oh,
still,
that's awesome.
yeah,
That's awesome.
amazing people. Amazing. He does so much for so many people. And I just have been fortunate with some of the people I've run into.
So that was the early 2000s?
2005, we launched Commercial Brokers International. And then we've got Commercial Real Estate Affiliate Network. We launched in 2003. And
Oh,
that was because of this was another, you know what? I've got a lot of revenge stories. Now I think about it is so I had brought, so we were big into marketing with our commercial brokerage company right off the bat. We were doing as much as we could, working on our SEO. We hired a kid out of USC that understood how the marketing really, he did a deep dive into it. He had his master's in the psychology of marketing, which was insane. It was the colors, the font. He knew all of it. It was just I learned so much from that young guy right out of college. And so we started getting leads from around the globe, right? And we brought in a company called Lorna. And this was years after. I think we were only like at 10 agents at the time. We're at 23 now, but I think we were 10 agents at that time. And we brought them over. We helped them get situated here. We got them housing for their employees that came over. We got them in
oh,
7
wow.
retail locations, 9 outlets, headquarters. We found them a headquarters, found them warehousing, got all that. And they go, hey, Joe, we want to move across the country. We want to start expanding. And I'm like, oh,
Didn't plan for
no.
that one.
Most people think, oh, what a good problem to have. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't have a way to service them. And we ended up losing them as a client.
Wow.
And that hurt. And then we had another one, Urkel Lighting from Germany came in, same thing. And I'm like, okay, we've got to join an affiliate network. And, I was like, there's something has got to happen here. And then I found out what a lot of these affiliate networks charge. And I'm like, there's an
Yeah.
annual fee, there's a transaction fee, there's just fee after fee after fee, right? And I thought, well, there's no way that anybody that has like I said, at that time we were around 10 agents, there's no way that anybody our size can afford to belong to one of these.
Right.
And these guys are just as good a broker as any of these big firms. And it just irritated the hell out of me,
Yeah.
as you
Right.
can imagine.
Yeah.
And
Of
I'm like,
course.
I don't know what to do about it. And so I just kind of let it sit. And then it came to me, I'm like, why don't we build our own? But let's make it to where the real estate brokerage firms don't pay any kind of fees other than when they close a transaction, they send a referral fee to whoever sent them the business. And that's negotiable. So if I have a deal here in Los Angeles, you have one back in New York, I can call you and say, hey, Kyle, I've got a client that's expanding to New York. I don't want to really deal with it. So I just a 20% referral fee. That's all I really want. Or you can say, Kyle, I'm going to come to New York. I'm going to do everything. I just want you to pull some properties. I'll give you a 10% referral fee. You could say yes or no.
Right.
And so, so you and I are both entrepreneurs. We would discuss it and end up at a fair percentage where we were both happy and then work the
Yeah.
deal out. And it's working. We just hit 40 members yesterday, 40 brokerages. It's
I would
amazing.
imagine that's it. But I would imagine, I mean, now has got to be peak. And no?
Yeah,
I mean,
no, I'm just getting started.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll be, because, I've got major cities. I can also go into smaller cities. I've got like Lincoln, Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska. I could also do Lincoln, or I could do, Kansas. And there's multiple cities in each one of these states. And so we could do them. So we're really just getting started, but it's just such a great way for brokerages that are independent brokerages to compete against the big companies.
Yeah.
And
And
the
I'll
big
take,
companies hate it when I talk to them about it. They go, you
yeah.
guys can't offer the service. I go, what can you offer that we can't?
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, like I know when I'm working at CB, and that was part of the reason why I've joined some other firms, and kind of what my thinking is now with what I do is if I work at one of those big shops, and I'm sure it's the same for everyone, and it's not a knock, just the way they've grown their business, right? Can't argue with that. But I have to call the Lincoln, Nebraska CBRE office and say, hey, I got this guy coming out there who in your office handles multifamily or handles industrial or retail. I want to make a referral, or now it's online. And then that's it. I can't go find the top producing warehouse broker in Lincoln, Nebraska. I got to
Right.
go with that. And you can make the argument that the client's not getting the best the best version of a broker in that market. They're just getting the one from our office that
Yeah.
somebody's dictating should run that deal.
Yeah.
So I see it as a tremendous opportunity. And I think we could talk about AI, obviously, and I'm sure we will shortly, but like that flexibility and
Oh,
artificial
yeah.
intelligence, I feel like has really become, I guess, threat is to these big
Yeah.
shops, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, we've got, I think, I launched it because I was irritated that there wasn't something for the smaller brokerages.
Yeah.
B, Commercial Brokers International had multiple clients that want to expand across the country. I think we've got 3 or 4 using the system right now or using the platform right now. And
Wow.
so that is money that our agents are getting. And, we had our office broker. She has an incredible client called Enclave. She had them all located here in LA, got all their locations. They're now
Mm.
expanding in Texas. And she came in the other day, there were 4 checks waiting for her. She goes, I just love this.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it
And
wasn't too
so
bad.
there's no fee to join, right? And like, so just
There's a vetting
basically the email.
process.
Yeah.
I need to
Right.
go on. I need to look at your reviews. I need to talk to people that you've worked with. I need to make sure that, if you've got negative reviews, and if, believe me, I completely understand and you'll find if you're looking at reviews on Google, some of these brokerages have lower reviews because they have property management. And you
Right.
have to understand that. But, property management it always drives down.
Oh yeah.
And so, but we want to make sure we've got some of the best in the industry, make sure they're responsive. If I have a brokerage that is not responsive, if I get a complaint from one of the other brokerages, I will reach out to them and I'll say, hey, what's going on here? And I got to where I was starting to replace a brokerage just a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago. And then I talked to another broker in the market. And he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, I'll cover for him. He's going through a very, very tough time right now.
Oh, okay. All
And
right.
I was like, okay, these 2 are competitors, but he was willing to cover. He goes,
That
I know
speaks
him very
strongly.
well. He goes, whatever is needed, I'll be happy to step in and I'll turn it back over to him when he gets better. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was
I mean,
amazing.
that's the problem with like membership networks because there isn't that level of accountability,
Right.
right? Like you pay the fee or whatever, you're going to be part of
Right.
that. But there's no, if you don't, in that situation, if you don't pick up the phone or you're
Yeah.
not really producing, you're still paying the fee. You're still part of the network.
Yeah.
The next
Yeah,
person doesn't
exactly.
necessarily know that you dropped the ball in the last deal.
Yeah. And here's the thing. The affiliate network is still getting their fee, so they don't care that much. Well, I'm
Yeah.
not getting a fee.
Yeah.
And my agents are using the system, the platform. So I care. And I'll pick up the phone. I'm going to have a conversation with you. If there's a problem, just let me know. We'll figure something out. But, don't just not be responsive. That's my pet peeve in our industry, right? Is
Oh,
brokers
yeah.
that just don't respond. Or they respond in 2 days. I'm like, nobody's that busy.
Yeah. No. And it's like, I'm going through this right now with a broker in Brooklyn, but this is how long it's been going back when she hasn't called me back since Passover. So it's like, oh, well, Passover's coming up. I got it. I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Never return the call, never anything. And meanwhile, if you just would have said, it's no longer available, not interested in this tenant, they fired me from this listing, just 2 seconds.
Communicate.
Yeah, yeah. One way or the other. Text, LinkedIn,
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. So
Yep.
if you're like a 5-person shop and you want to participate in this, is there do you publish a list of markets that are available? Like how would somebody get involved with that?
You can ping me. I want to take people on as backups too, just in case I do run into somebody that is not being responsive. I want to have backup. So just ping me, let me know. We're looking for good brokerages all the time. And just ping me. I'd love to talk to
Yeah.
anybody anyway.
So we were talking before about running brokerages,
Yeah.
the issues that, some brokerages are having and not knowing their numbers and focusing on
Yeah.
commissions. And you actually wrote a piece that the commercial real estate industry is rigged against small brokerages.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that's kind of like stands out to you in that article that you want to reference that could be impacting them and their bottom line? And we can talk about all the logistics behind it
Well,
too, but just curious what the
I'm
top 3 things
talking,
are.
I've been on this tear lately. Do you know who Jay Olshansky is? He used
I
to
know the
be
name.
head of CEO of NAI Global.
Mm-hmm.
He's no longer there. He bought Sperry Global, and they're going to be expanding that. He's such a great resource. And I just like to call him every few months, go, hey, Jay, what's going on? What don't I know? And he'll sit down and talk to you. And I actually
Huh.
brought him on 2 meet with all the affiliates and affiliate network, and we walk through, what numbers we should be looking at, because I'm always looking at the business behind the brand, right? So many real estate brokerage firms, and I'm mostly talking about commercial here. I don't really do that much with residential
Hmm.
anymore, but mostly commercial. You would be surprised, Kyle, how few of them actually understand the numbers behind our business.
Ah,
And I've had a conversation recently with this brokerage, and I'm like, "Well, what are your margins for your brokerage and for your agents?" And he
I'm
goes, "What
familiar
do you
with this
mean?" I said, "Well, how much you actually making on each agent?" And he didn't really get it. And so many of us, and I'm guilty of it too. I didn't come out of the gate understanding this stuff.
Right.
I just we were going to open a brokerage, and ours was, we had to, because we had 4 agents at the time.
Hmm.
And, we didn't know what else to do. So we started our own brokerage. That's how Commercial Brokers International got started. But, they didn't understand the numbers and understanding their margins. So we started breaking it out like, okay, what do your expenses look like? And we broke them down. Then he didn't put in his own time costs in there. And so I thought, okay, you need to put a value there as well. I said, okay, now what do your splits look like? And I tell you what, Kyle, he was losing money on his top 2, maybe even 3 agents. And because he hadn't done the math. And I'm like, okay, you got to go back to these agents and offer them something else. You've got to say the commissions have got to stay where they're at and offer them, you know, something to get that margin back up, or get to where you're having a margin. You can't be losing money on an agent. And so I'm surprised how many people don't think like that. Because, the first thing, when we're doing recruiting for Commercial Brokers International, we'll get a call, "Hey, what are your splits?" And that's the first part of the conversation. You might want to move on, because if
Yeah.
that's their mindset, they just want to get as much from your brokerage as they can, which is fine. But maybe it's not the commissions. Maybe you as a brokerage need to have something else that you can offer them. And I always go to, okay, so I'll have a conversation with them. And some of them are just dead split. I need an 80% split or 85% split. Or I'm like, but what kind of numbers do you do? And, you really it all comes down to the numbers, right? And we end up having a conversation about what else we can offer them to
Mm.
offset this high fee, because I want to figure out how I'm going to grow their business. Because if they're growing their business, the brokerage is actually growing. And so one of the best things that we do with our brokerage is, okay, if you're going to be hiring a junior, I don't want you taking the time to train them.
Right.
We're doing classes every morning for our new agents. And so we'll just have that person come in under us. We'll do the training. You keep doing what you do to operate your business. You then take this person and teach them how you want to run your side of the business. But as far as how to do contracts, how to do all the other work, we're going to take that off you.
Mm.
That's almost 4 to 5 hours a week that we're
Yeah.
taking off that broker.
Right.
What's the value there? What's the time value to you? And so if they can't understand that kind of stuff, they're stuck on the commissions, then maybe you need to move on. But really try and figure out a way to get good talent,
Yeah.
and don't give the farm away. You're in this to make money,
And
and your brokerage isn't going to last long if you don't.
it's the same as any other business. Like I
Right.
remember when I started in the restaurant business, my uncle had a software company and he wanted to talk to me business and about my business. And I was like, what do we have in common? He's like,
Yeah.
almost everything.
Yeah.
He's like, the only difference is you buy food, you cook it, you provide, you apply heat to it and you sell it to somebody, you get paid that day. I might not get paid for a year.
Yeah.
He's like, but all the other components are virtually the same.
Yeah.
So in that, like I started running my business, I learned how to read P&Ls and all of that type of stuff. But I remember sitting with the accountant and them being like, just focus on the largest expenses and get in those expenses and see what's actually they're comprised of. So I started to figure that out. If I'm a brokerage right now, right, I'm looking at my P&L, is there one thing that you would say you're wasting money on this? And like, what should they kill tomorrow?
I was just going through this last week with a couple brokerages. Staffing. With the AI that's out there, you don't need as much staff. You can have a transaction coordinator. You could use a virtual assistant. There's so much stuff that can be done now that doesn't require a person full time.
Yeah.
And you see that constantly.
Wow.
We run pretty lean in our companies, but you see it. I was looking at a firm that I think they had 10 agents. They had multiple transaction coordinators, I think 3 transaction coordinators. They had a marketing person, they had a PR person, and they had an operations person.
Yeah.
They can't be making money.
No.
There's no way. At the margins you're at with these agents as a brokerage, you're not making money. It
No.
looks great, and it looks great to the agents, but you're not making money. And you got to start thinking about the business behind your brand. You really got to run it.
I'll tell you
You got
what,
to run a
that was
tight ship.
I was at the National Restaurant Show this past weekend, and there was a whole company set up just for that, for restaurants.
Yep.
Like all these part-time bookkeepers, marketing
Yep.
assistants, social media, they payroll, anything like that. They said we're that solution. We're like
Yeah.
$99 a month. We run all these AI things and we run all the back end stuff. It's scaled up from there, obviously, but a 1/100th of what a lot of restaurants are spending on that type of stuff. And I'm sure
Yep.
the dynamic is, like you said, the same here. So that's pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah. You've got to have, there was a restaurant here on the West Side here in Los Angeles. You'll get a kick out of this, Kyle. And they had a great artichoke appetizer.
I love it.
And yeah, it sold, I think it was like $15. This is like 10 years ago. And so it was expensive. And the guys just said, I'm not making any money in this restaurant. And they're sitting there looking at it and looking at our broker went and sat for one night and he goes, okay, give me the printout for the night. That artichoke was not put in the system. It was at zero. For 3 years, $15 went out the window every time somebody ordered one of those.
And they sound like 100 a night.
Yeah, he didn't sell them that many.
Yeah,
but
but
it was a lot. But I mean, and that was just the beginning. You've got to know your numbers. You've got to pay attention to these numbers. And another thing that broker owners and managers and even team leaders, we get into helping our other agents. And there's one thing that we forget is to add our own time. What is our own time? How do we value that?
Oh, yep.
Next thing you know, I'm finding I'm spending half a day with our brokers. And so we put up on, got a QR code connected to my Calendly to where I've got my time blocked out to where I can do my strategy for the day, making sure I'm hitting my goals. My personal things are in there. Obviously not on the Calendly, but it lets the agents know, when I'm available that they can just come in. And it does two things. One, I'm prepared for them and I can focus on them 100%, and they can prepare for the meeting. If somebody just wants to come in, they start knocking on your door when they're walking by, they're not really prepared for a meeting. So once you have that Calendly link or whatever system you use, they're going to prepare for that meeting. And that 30-minute meeting, because they stopped and talked, is going to take it just a few minutes now because they've actually thought about the question. And then also have a decision tree. This is another big one, a decision tree where especially if you have newer agents, the most common asked questions, have that listed somewhere for them to see and have them so they can go back to it if they need it. Because there's nothing worse than if it takes 2 minutes to answer the same question every day for different agents. At the end of the week, how much time you've actually lost.
Oh, well,
yeah.
That's an AI thing too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so easy to do with this because if you're focused and somebody comes and disturbs you, it takes on an average about 23 minutes and 15 seconds to get back on track.
I love that stat.
Do that about 5 times a day. Now what have you got? You've got a lot of lost time.
Oh yeah. I mean, the AI, like what you're talking about here with these little questions, I just saw Starbucks launch this thing that's called like the Green Dot AI. And it's like for all their baristas who, can we substitute this? Does this have an allergy? All these questions that they're going back and forth in their service are like, now they don't have to interrupt anybody. They could ask right there. It's sitting on an iPad right there for them to talk to. I would imagine that's going to come into our industry pretty quick when it comes
Absolutely. If somebody's, I'm getting contacted from just college kids reached out, go, hey, I built an AI. I'd like to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
And I do one of those a week just to kind of see it. I tell you what, some of these kids are building some interesting stuff. Some of it, they need to, go back to the drawing board, and we're just very open with them saying, listen, you need to go back and start over here because this isn't really going to fit for our need. Or a lot of them just build stuff and it's really just a CRM that they've built. This is already, and a lot of it's just not even AI. It's just it's a plug-in, so.
Yeah. No, I've spoken to a couple of those guys myself, and a lot of them, you're right. Like I love the outsider perspective. Like they can look at the industry and, my one buddy works at Amazon. He's big on data. And then he talked to another guy who's trying to build some blockchain thing to invest in a, 500 unit multifamily property in the city. He wants to tokenize it, but he can't do anything because he doesn't have the data. He needs the data. So like I'm starting to see this dynamic play out more often, and definitely in my LinkedIn DMs, like every single day, multiple.
You know what? That's back to being a really good brokerage owner or manager or team leader is understanding that data every week. Even if it's just your calendar, understanding, man, I wasted a bunch of time here. And you got to be honest with yourself, right? And say, listen, I really pissed this few hours away.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need to. I'm not saying you should be working 24/7, but really be honest with yourself and make sure you're really on efficiency.
Yeah.
Efficiency is key, but also knowing your numbers, because with AI right now, you can plug your numbers in on a daily basis. It's all going to, at the end of the month, just hit a report. It's going to be there for you. What
Oh
agent
yeah.
generated the money? Which agent, didn't? Who's got what going on? And, you got to really be real. As a brokerage owner, it's very expensive to have agents, right?
Mm-hmm.
CoStar alone is hundreds of dollars a month. And that's just one platform. You get multiple platforms, and some of these AI platforms are not cheap.
No.
And so you could get up to a couple $1,000s a month that you're spending per agent very
Yeah.
quickly.
Wow.
And if they're not producing something for 6, 8 months, you're deep into them. You need to go sit
That
down and talk to them and say, listen, I mean, we've done it. We've gone back to some of our agents that weren't producing. I said, okay, you need to cover some of your expenses, $650 a month. And just that, we won't let them get too high. If you get to where
yeah.
I'm 10,000 into you and you're not getting LOIs and you're not getting showings and you're not just production. And more often than not, they'll
You don't
either
see them
pay
the
it
next day.
because they believe in themselves or they
Yeah.
quit.
Yeah. That's the last time you saw them.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
if somebody like that, or even if I'm an independent broker, right, or agent, I do 200 to 500 in CGI, and I want to kind of take the next level, or I'm
Mhm.
feeling stuck. What do you think is the single highest leverage move I should make right now that will impact me in the next 6 to 12 months?
If you're a broker or you're a brokerage owner,
Agent, like out there doing deals. Yeah, like either way. I guess more for the agent side.
you need to be looking at all the tools that are out there right now. You can be so much more efficient. You don't need a transaction coordinator. You
Right.
don't. Your marketing, you don't need help with that. It's all there now. You can go do it yourself in minutes. There's so many tools that just make everything so much faster. There's one that I really fell in love with, Paloma or something like that
Oh,
Google put out. Paloma,
Pomeli.
I'm not
Pomeli.
sure what it is, but man, it can create these short videos for you
Oh
in
yeah.
a matter of minutes. You just tell it what you want and it'll kick it out. It's a great ad. We use it for affiliate network pretty often, and it comes with ideas. I'm like, oh, that's brilliant, and then obviously you got to make sure that you're not relying on it solely. It's great for ideas,
Mm-hmm.
but use it for ideas. Don't take AI and be writing all your blogs.
No.
It's going
No.
to show,
And without the context, that's why I've even gotten away from typing on it. I'll just
Oh yeah.
talk just like I'm talking to you right now,
Yeah.
and I'll hash things out. I'll tell it like, hey, don't just tell me what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Push against me. Is this a good idea? Am I thinking about this right?
Yep.
And the other day I started going down this because I have I'm building this platform, and it's basically like a way for restaurants to organize all their data and really have brokers submit sites. The sites get immediately put into like a CRM kind of thing, but like a site scoring thing. And based on their criteria, they can toggle all of the factors and add factors that they want. And in 60 seconds, they can go up their day and then go, oh, what's going on? Do we have anything submitted? Oh, new sites. Oh, and it scores a 90. Like they can go and do that stuff. So I'm going,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing, right? Like if this wasn't here, I wouldn't know how to code a website or a platform. But I built a project manager, and it was telling me what to do each day. Like today, just do these 3 things. And one day I was just like on fire. And I just was like, and the AI said to me, Kyle, stop. You've done enough today. I was like,
Yeah.
shit. Wow. I'm like, yeah, I'm in too deep,
Yeah.
but
It doesn't take long.
my point is the opportunity is there to do stuff like that. And I think that
Yeah.
everyone's still just writing emails with it.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to know when the right tool is for you,
Yeah.
and go out, find it, utilize the heck out of it, be smart about it. And, it's key. If you're using it to do the calls for you right now, the voice, it's not there yet.
No.
I'd be waiting. I see some agents doing that, or I'm getting those calls pretty regularly. You can tell it's AI, but they'll get
Yeah.
it there, but it's just not there yet. So be smart
The,
about the tools you're using.
yeah. I mean, it's so crazy what we expect. Like
Mhm.
6 months ago, we were making fun of people who were using ChatGPT. Like, oh, would you use ChatGPT for this? But now it's like, you're not using ChatGPT. And then we have an expectation like, God, this AI thing doesn't even negotiate for me. What do I need this piece of crap for?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really an incredible tool. Claude, especially. That Mythos that's coming out is supposed to be even more incredible, I guess. I don't really know much about it yet, but it's amazing the ideas that you can get from it. And it's a great way to learn.
I'm just thinking it's going to be me, Claude, and a Tesla robot. That's going to be my team.
Have you tried Claude Cowork yet?
We can have a whole separate show on that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, rebuild my website in about 7 minutes.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
And everything you didn't think of, you're like, shit, why didn't I think of that? Yeah. But it's learning from you every time, right? And so, which is scary in itself. But, you know, I think in the real estate brokerage industry, there's not a better time to go out there and make as much money as possible. I think we're here. I think you can be a lot more efficient. I think you can cast a wider net. I think it's just a huge opportunity right now for people that want to do it. But I think, in our industry, probably it's more for the younger generation that are going to be doing that, right? Because the older generation is going to stick with doing what they've always been doing. So I think huge opportunity for a younger generation to get into this industry and just kill it.
So I'm with you on that. I mean, it's funny. I still like to do cold call. I grew up, like my first job ever was Sloman Shield cold calling people for home alarm installations.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then I worked at Prudential Securities as a cold caller. We had to make 500 dials a day. And so I don't mind it. And sometimes I miss it. So I'll call somebody and I still, every once in a while, I laugh when somebody's like, how'd you get my number? I'm like, buddy, I mean, I know so much more about you. You probably don't want to know. Like the phone number was the easy part.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. But but cold calling is still number one.
Oh, I just made a hefty referral to somebody that on a cold call that was that I stumbled into.
Yeah.
So
cold calling. Cold calling is the way to go, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And
everything needs to be part of it.
I know you're busy. And I don't want we're dragging on here, but we're getting caught up in so many different things. I'd love to continue to go down the rabbit hole, but you're easily one of the most active content creators, commercial real estate education. I mean, giving away so many things. What was the actual moment that you decided, like, I'm going to do this? This is it. Do you remember what it was, or did you just kind of roll into it?
It was early on in my career. And I just was like, when George and I started, there was nobody really doing mentoring. Everybody kept their cards close to their chest.
Yeah.
It made it really, really hard for us. And so fortunately, we could talk to each other and kind of figure things out. Not the smartest couple of guys, but we did figure a few things out here and there. And so I thought, when I get the chance, I'm going to figure out a way to really help the younger generation that really wants to get into this industry, or I'm going to talk about the experiences I had so people can learn from my mistakes. And I'm going to put it out there. And that's what this website behind me, the joekillinger.co. On that, if you go on to, there's all kinds of information. There's books, there's learning. If you go on learning, there's free booklets on how to become a great CRE retail broker, how to be your first 90 days in commercial real estate. How recruiting, we had a big conference call on recruiting. I took all the notes and put it into a booklet. How we went from being an agent to a brokerage owner. All those booklets are on there. They're for free. They're for everybody to use. My email is everywhere. You reach out to me. I sit and take calls all the time and happy to help people. It's just part of what we do.
I love that. Now, last question. I have like 50 other questions here, but if you have a broker today who's listening to this or has been following you, or maybe you probably even gotten this question, but is there something that you feel strongly about that nobody else is talking about in the industry? Is there like one thing? I mean, everyone's talking about AI, we're talking about all the stuff we spoke about today in regards to the affiliate networks and big brokerages and small brokerages. And is there any one thing that you could give to an agent right now who's like, well, what can I do to kind of get ahead? Any little nugget you have?
I tell everybody your time is your most valuable asset. This is something I don't hear a lot of people talking about, especially when they're new. They have goals every day. I got to make 50 calls. I got to make, 100 calls. Yes, you do, but you also have to value your time. If it's think about your strength, think about your weaknesses, really focus on your strength, get better at your weaknesses. That is something that I see a lot of people that they're not very good at cold calling, yet they're doing it. We sit down with our agents and do role playing, or other agents in the office will sit down and do role playing with them until they can really get up to speed. In the meantime, they're depending on what asset class they're doing. If it's retail, they're going out and walking the properties. They're getting to know the market very well. And, that's probably the one main thing is you really got to get to know your market. One asset class, one market, start there. Don't take on the whole goddamn place. I was talking to a broker the other day. So what's your market? He goes, LA. I said, yeah, I know. You live in LA. What's your
Got it.
market? He goes, LA. I'm like, okay, we need to bring that down. Where in LA? Let's start with Brentwood or Santa Monica and then let's spread out. But, value your time. Don't be
Yeah.
wasting it. Your time is there's just so much value there, especially when you're new.
Yeah.
You got to fill and then make sure at the end of the day, go home, exercise, get some rest, take care of yourself mentally and physically.
Yeah. That's probably the key right there.
When
it's so
we
easy to work 24 hours a day on this stuff.
Yeah, especially now, right? There's always something you can be doing, but you need to step away.
Yeah. So this will be, I lied. That wasn't the last question. This is the last question. If somebody, the content stuff, we don't need to be
the last
you and I are both involved in CRA Summit, and we preach this for as long as I've known you, basically how we met. Time is still the issue, right? So if somebody's back and forth, they should do content. They got an hour a day. What should they do?
Video, just short videos.
Yeah.
Talk about something, talk about your asset class, talk about your market, talk about something going on in that market. Just talk about that. It's going to take you 30, 40 seconds. Book 10 minutes in a day and do a couple of them that you can put out. But yeah, get video going. It's really going to be, it's very important. If you can do shorts on YouTube, that'll transition over to almost all the platforms. But make sure, the problem, Kyle, is, and I see this in a lot of agents, is they put out content they want to put out.
Yeah.
What you want to be in the mindset is, what does the client want to see from you?
Exactly.
Doesn't matter what you want to put out. What do they want? What's going to get them to pick up the phone and call you?
Yep. Amazing.
So, video.
The same thing. Yeah, that's the same thing. We had this conversation about restaurants that fail yesterday. And I always say, that's because the chef is making food that he thinks you should like. Yeah. And the best advice I ever got was, give them what they want and charge it for it. Some chefs will say, take the bread off the menu. People are filling up on bread. They're not ordering appetizers. The other chef will say, you know what? Let's make a really cool bread basket, some house-made butter with whatever in it. Charge them $7 for it. Yeah. You want bread pay? Two completely different mindsets, but it will determine the success of the restaurant, in my opinion. Like that ego will eat you alive. And I think that you can make the same case.
I see it.
Yeah.
I see it a lot,
I mean, George is right down the hallway, right?
Yeah, exactly. Kick his ass after he can throw a baseball, hit him right now. Yeah, no, it's just be the best you can be. Don't try and be. I see so many people trying to be somebody else. There's one you. Be the best you got out there. Put the content out that is about you and what you have to offer. That's the thing. What was the thing I posted yesterday? I heard somebody say, "Oh my God, that's brilliant." Now I'm gonna have to look it up because I thought, you know what, I got to really think about it because it was, see, when I get on the spot, my brain shuts down, right?
That's all right. I hear you. Dude, mine takes about 6 hours to warm up as it is.
Yeah. It was, if you focus on what you want instead of what you have to offer, it's going to be a tough road ahead. What do you have to offer? Why should people call you?
Yeah. That hyper-local, basic content, 3, 4, 5-minute videos on YouTube do really well, as you know. Yep.
And do check out CRAISummit.com. That is going to be a ton of AI this year.
It's going to be like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, if you just want to do your hologram can show up there, that's it. You can do that too, I'm sure, by then. By September?
Yeah, probably by then. Yeah, we got till September. So we got time, right?
Yeah, we got like 5 months. Well, that's plenty of time. Sounds like a silly question, but I feel like I have to say it. Where can people find you?
Right there. JoeKillinger.co. You want to know a funny story, Kyle, is I got JoeKillinger.co because JoeKillinger.com was taken, right? Some jackass decided they wanted it years ago, and I couldn't get it. And I'm doing a podcast. I'm live, and I'm telling the story to this guy. And he goes on, he goes, JoeKillinger.com is available. And he goes, it's $5.99. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Now I got to go buy that, and it's $600. I'm like, okay. So I hang up and I go on $5.99. It's $5.99. I'm like, son, now I'm pissed that it's only $5.99.
I was going to say,
it's a very emotional few moments.
Yeah, I'm sure that guy probably heard you say that. I was like, I'm going to put this $600, let this sucker buy it.
No, I got it for $5.99. I own it now. I just got to change all the branding over.
Now you got to pay a designer $600 to fix all your logo.
Yeah.
That's called the break even.
Or, so yeah, joe@joekillinger.co is my email. Check out the website, reach out with questions, check out the YouTube channel. It's just under my name, Joe Killinger. I put out content. I'm really focusing on the business behind the brand. And I took a little vacation. I'm taking a huge hit right now because I took that vacation. It's amazing. Once you start a YouTube channel, you take some time off.
You got to ramp it back up.
Yeah, you're starting all over again. It was killing me, but we'll get there. And so do check it out. You can make comments on there. I love to hear comments. This community that I'm building it's just about building a business, building a brokerage, building your agent business. So hope you'll join.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'll tell you right now, 2 free resources that I'm a big fan of that I see: your first 90 days in commercial real estate and transitioning from agent to broker. What I think 2 invaluable resources.
Yep.
All right. If I don't see you before then, I will see you in Savannah, or I'll see you right here on YouTube.
You will see me for sure. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thanks, Joe.